Hey everybody, you're now tuned in to the Lady Charmaine live show and it's time for Hot Topics. So we want to thank you all for joining us on the show tonight. And I just want you guys to take a moment right now to like, comment, and subscribe because we got some good stuff. So be sure to share it. And tonight we're going to be talking about some very controversial topics, very controversial. And here's one of the topics. Should transgender teens and adults be able to compete in physical sports with the gender they identify with? Is that fair or fair competition, or is it an unfair advantage? And are we becoming afraid to mention color when we identify someone? How important is color when we are describing someone? And I'm going to be playing a telephone call for you. It's from our fellow personalities, radio personalities. It's from the Frank and Wanda show out of Atlanta, Georgia. There was a young lady who called in who is a mistress, and I'm going to be playing that call for you because you have to hear it. And all of that is going to be coming up right after this. And we're back, and I got some people joining me in the studio today. You may know some of them, but we have also a guest in the studio joining me right now. So right now we got my husband, Joe. How you doing, babe?
Hey, doing great.
We also got my girl, Miss Marie Hutchison.
Hey, we mic sharing, y'all. We mic sharing.
And we also have Mr. Will Gray. He is our guest in the studio today.
Hey,
Will.
Hey, how you
and
doing?
then we also have the hair hustler. He goes by the name of Mr. Derek. What's up, Derek? How you doing?
Good. How you doing, lady?
I am doing well. Now, we have a really good show tonight. Oh, let me get your name off the screen real quick. But we have a really good show tonight because what I want everybody to do right now is write down this telephone number. And the number is 916-226-9226 if you want to join in and just join in on this conversation tonight because it's going to be a really good conversation. And it might get hot, but we want you guys to call in now. This is the thing, though. I want everyone to be respectful when it comes to this topic. Everybody has differing opinions, but if you want to call in and join in on the conversation, please be respectful. No matter what your opinion is, just be respectful. One, we want God to get all the glory in whatever we say, and we don't want to offend anybody because they may think differently from you. But we will share our opinions in a very respectful way. And here is tonight's topic. Should transgender teens participate in gender-specific sports because they identify with that gender? Does it give the teen an unfair advantage? And I have a video that I want to play for everyone before we actually get into this conversation. Now, the video that you all just saw was a young lady. It's a transgendered young man who is now identifying as female. So I get kind of confused when I say that, but now identifying as female. And the conversation is, the Daily Mail reports that students and parents demand unfair rule. They call it an unfair rule to change after two transgender teens who were sprinters. They came in first and second place at the Girls State Championship. And then months after, one of them competed as a boy. Now, transgendered sophomore teen Terry Miller, who was born a boy, but now identifies as female, set a new record at the ICAC State Open Track and Field competition, running against other females, finishing first in the 100 meters with 11.72 seconds and in the 200 dash with 24.17 seconds. His fellow transgender sprinter, Andrea Yearwood, came in second place for the 100-meter dash in the competition. Now, because they were two transgenders, they ended up smoking all the other girls in the field. Now, is this a fair advantage for them to be running with other females? And so I know this is it's going to be a tricky conversation, but I want to be able to hear from you all. What do you think? And now, Will, you have a daughter that actually runs track. She's an athlete. So as a father who has a daughter that runs track, I know you have a different mindset, but how do you feel about this?
I know you mentioned a different mindset because I know my daughter can beat probably 92% of the young men in her school. But when I think about that, the transgender person running against young ladies, it is definitely an unfair advantage. And I think everyone here at the panel will probably agree that it's all based on the physicality of the athlete. I don't care about what they believe as far as their religion or their sexual orientation and all that. They have the right to do what they need to do. But when it comes to being out on the field, they do have that unfair advantage. So I think it's unfair. I think it's really unfair for for a person to take advantage of that. Because I can just imagine if we had like I said, Joanna man out there playing in the WNBA, scoring like 70 points a game, and so it's a very interesting topic. Thanks for having me, by the way.
You're welcome, Derek. How do you feel?
I agree with him. I agree with Will. I think it's very unfair because, just my opinion, I'm being very sensitive, but this is my opinion, and I think I'm entitled to it. I believe that they're still, men. I'm a Christian, and my views don't change just because of the world. So I just believe that, and I feel if it was my daughter, I would do everything out of my power to make sure that, it didn't occur. I don't care if it was a rally. I don't care if it was because she worked hard to get to where she at, and she didn't train with other men. She trained with other girls from 2 to now. So she didn't expect this. She didn't expect this. So why? That's just my thing. I don't agree.
Okay, Marie.
Well, I mean, I think that there should probably just go ahead and have the transgender have their area that they compete against each other, maybe. Yeah. I mean, because to compete, to not saying that anyone's doing this, but to stop them from competing or feeling like they shouldn't happen because you have some talented kids out there doing whatever. But maybe they should just have their own meet or their own. And this is where it's going. This is where it's going. So we got to talk about it like this, But I think it is unfair to have, if it's a young man competing in a female sport, like Derek said, the girls are matching each other in strength and competing against each other in training and all that kind of stuff. So a boy comes in hands down and has that upper advantage. Yeah. So, maybe they should just separate it.
Okay, Joe.
As Marie was talking, something that just came to mind. Why wouldn't they just compete with the males to begin with, even though they can identify as being female and they're transgender, because of their muscle mass and if one just recently, a few months prior, competed with the boys, then why now make the change to go compete against the females now, just because now you identify differently, but biologically you're a male still.
Well, they want to feel like a woman, Joe. Just the same reason why we have to share bathrooms with them at 24-hour fitness.
But the feelings of again, I'm not very familiar with everything that takes place. Either. But if you're feeling one way one day, what prevents you from feeling something different later on? Because I've heard that there's been transgenders has gone from male to female and back to male again. Yeah. So it gets real confusing, and that's where I'm having a hard time kind of identifying where do we draw the line? Where do we say, okay, what lane are you going to be in? And is it, to your point, a disadvantage for those that are female biologically and have trained and worked hard to get to where they need to be, only to have a male come in and just dominate everything? And I know there's another instance. I watch MMA, and there was another a transgender that just recently went from being in the military as a man to now identifying as a woman, and then wrestling and fighting against women, but biologically being a man. And that's something, Fallon Fox, I believe. And that was something I found appalling, because I'm like, wait a minute, you're a man, now you're hitting a woman with your man's strength. Yep. Even though you identify as a woman. So that this is pretty sensitive for me, because I watch the sport. Right. In track, you may not have the physical, contact. But everything, you know, as far as it being on an equal playing field, it still seems to me apples and oranges.
Yep, absolutely, completely.
Well, I know the Olympics real quick. The Olympics, what they do is if you find yourself identifying as a transgender person, you have to submit paperwork to them so they can actually approve if you are able to participate in a particular sport. I think there's a lady in Hawaii. I'm not going to try to remember her name, but I think it's a young lady who wanted to play volleyball in the 2020 Olympics, and right now she just got approved to be a part of that as far as a transgender playing volleyball. So I know maybe that's something that somewhere down the line that we high schools and professional sports may need to take a look at and say, okay, you have to apply to ensure you are who you say you are before you actually just go out there and compete against women when you know for a fact that you're a man, you know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't the records have to be asterisks, though, with regards to record breaking in those kind of events that were traditionally female?
Why?
But now if you are transgender, you have your male strength, male hormones going into a female event, and now you're breaking records as a female, but you were just transitioned as a female. I mean, it just seems like it doesn't seem fair. I mean,
no, it's not fair, but that's the way the world is trending and there's trending now, and that's just something that we as America or across the world need to start getting used to, as far as the way the world is going at this moment, because change is coming. And it's here, and we just got to find ways to get around it.
But see, now this is my question, because Andrea Yearwood did compete as a male just a year prior. And my question is, what does their numbers look like? Because were they getting smoked as a male and then figured if I run now as a female, I'll probably have better chances of winning? Because why would you want to go and run as a female now if you smoking all the males, even though you identify as female? So that's my question. You know, so if you go back and maybe look at the records, they may have been slower as a male and can dominate as a male in a female race. Go ahead.
No, well, the time is the time. Because when you run track and field, you run against the time, and whatever your time comes out, that's what it is.
What if it was slow?
Well, obviously, for these two individuals, it couldn't have been slow because they ran I forgot what it was, but a 2.6 and a 26 and a 27, something like that. So, I mean, male or female, that's what they ran. That's time, and that's what I teach my daughter when she does run track. You're not running against the individual; you run it against time, and so you want to try to beat your time.
But and that's good. So what was their time running against other males?
It's probably the same. They just got smoked, like you said.
Right. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Mary.
So for me, that goes back to, I mean, 'cause, you know, I don't know a whole lot about this, but as far as just, there needs to be rules. All of what you guys are saying pulls up the idea that there needs to be some rules set to this thing. So if there's girls protecting their records against transgender boys, that's important. If your daughter is competing for women all this time, and then here comes a transgender person who beats her, that's not fair. It's not. Because she's been competing against women all this time. So there should be probably some rules set to this. And just because you decide to dress like a girl or visually become a girl doesn't also mean that you should compete against girls. Yeah. See, and that's kind of what I'm sitting here thinking too. Like, how do I say that? Like, because he had the hair on and he identifies, doesn't make it okay for him to have to, because he's looking like a girl, to race with the girls?
No.
He can still race with the boys if he thinks he's a girl.
I agree with you at the beginning. You said that they need their own lane.
True, they do.
Build their own.
But if not, you're still a boy.
You're still a boy.
Nobody, you can do your girl thing. Nobody's,
community.
you know, you can do your thing. But in this sport, this is what's going on. You're competing against girls. You do have an advantage. So it's got levels to it, because you got people and their opinions and emotions and stuff that creep into that and that change that thing up.
But I think you have to be careful when you talk about creating own, because one of the things that we talk about now, and it's prevalent on the news now, is about separation. And we don't want them to feel, we don't want transgender to think that they're separated from everybody else. So, I mean, I agree that they need their own, but somehow they need to figure out where that separation doesn't happen.
But you know what comes to mind to me is when a female, and we've seen this, we probably have, where a female wants to play football.
Right.
Okay. Traditionally male sport, she wants to play football. She doesn't identify as a man. She's just a female playing football. Yeah. And she's allowed to do that. In some high schools, they make accommodations for that. What would be any different than somebody identifying as female but still running with the men? That way you keep the competition level because you're still a man, but you just want to identify as female, maybe outside of the sport or within the sport, but the competition is still equal. You're not matching now of your male hormones against a female hormones.
Then you know what the problem comes in with that? If that transgender person decides they want to visually come as a female to that sport.
Well, in the case of football, they got a helmets on, and they do pads. I mean, nothing would change. I mean, maybe they make some accommodations. The locker room may be a little different. You may have to go across the hall a little bit.
Right. So here we go with that.
Or get a family bathroom like they do at Target.
I want to go back to Will's point when you said the separation, and you didn't believe in the separation. And
so we have to be careful. We have to be careful with it.
My thing is, I don't have an issue with the separation, and this is why. Because you're separating skill level. And you're separating strength level. And we do that with the Special Olympics.
Yes.
Because you have a lot of them who may not necessarily, some people are in wheelchairs, that participate in the Special Olympics, but we're separating skill level because would it be fair to have a person who may be, I don't know what's the term, maybe regular, may not have the same disabilities that they have. What if we just say, okay, well, they can run because they can run? Why is there separation with the Special Olympics?
Because you're separating their belief in who they believe they are. And that's what I'm talking about. As far as them believing that they truly are women or young ladies, and it shouldn't really matter what my physique look like. I identify as a young lady. And all I'm saying is you have to be careful because I can see this if someone says, well, we're going to separate you and have your own. Why? I identify as a young lady.
But
and so I can see that. It doesn't really matter.
I totally understand where you're coming from.
Because it's all about their mindset.
I totally understand the mindset, but that body is still that body.
I agree with you.
I totally understand what the mindset is because I identify as female, but physically, you are physically stronger, and that's why we're going to go to Fallon Fox. Fallon Fox, who identifies as a female. Fallon Fox was a male. Fallon Fox also served in the military and then decided after coming out of the military that they wanted to trans into female. But yet Fallon Fox didn't tell anyone that they were once male. And now they're in the ring knocking out these women. And even one woman said they felt a power that they had never felt before in the ring. It was a power that she had never felt before. There was a strength that her opponent said there was a strength that she had never felt before. Why? Because she did not know that Fallon Fox was a man.
Right. And I agree.
And so even though I understand Fallon Fox, feels that, but still had the strength of a man fighting women and overpowering those women. And so I get what you're saying because in between here feels like it, but still had the physical makeup and the strength of a man.
Well, I see future lawsuits if they go the route of separation. I just see it. I mean, because again, you cannot really challenge someone's mindset. This is what they believe. There's many cases in case laws that talk about the intent of the mind. So, I mean, it's.
But I also see someone can seriously get hurt because now, especially if you don't disclose that you are a man, and you get into what a female competition, and they're not expecting that kind of power and getting hit. I mean, we call that abuse. There's a reason why we teach our young boys and young men not to hit a woman. You're stronger. You're bigger. You can really do some damage, especially if she's not expecting any of that.
And that's why.
So competition, I think when you have a competition and you're not expecting that, you can open yourself for some injury. And I wouldn't want my daughter in that kind of position.
And all I'm saying is we just have to be careful. But I think if you create expectation, if all the sports create expectations and set the rules like I think the Olympic Committee does, and individuals have to submit paperwork, then they might be able to offset. Like, for instance, you talked about boxing. you know what, dude, I can't have you in this sport because you're going to harm somebody, you know, and create those expectations. Now, track and field, okay, send something out, you know, individual sports, volleyball, okay, you can do that because it's a team sport. Basketball, give us another 6 months. We'll discuss this with you later, but you know what I'm saying? But I think that's where they have to start, is starting with the expectations, let out the ground rules. And they got someone that's already doing it. There's no need to recreate the wheel. Just go see the Olympic team. And they just had one, like I said, just applied and just got accepted. And that was for volleyball. I think her last name is Thompson, Tina or Trina Thompson, from Hawaii. So.
Okay. So now what if you have, okay, the basketball team, and then you have, you know, a guy who transgenders over into a female, and he's just ducking on everybody. I'm talking about just bringing the backboard down.
7-1.
I mean, I'm just asking.
No, again, there's no rule that says that it can't.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it's right, wrong, and different. There's just no rule that says that they can't. Now, if we saw you on Monday night playing for the Clippers, and on Wednesday you playing for the Chicago Sky,
no.
Now we got an issue.
That's right.
What's your point? Why are you doing that? So again, it goes to intent. I can't make it in the NBA, but I know I can make it over in the WNBA. You know.
Yeah. So what do you like in certain circles? Again, I don't profess to knowing how this would happen, but would there be like a handicapping involved to make it even? Like in golf, sometimes you got a handicap, or say they try to even it out a little bit because knowing going into it, you have an advantage. So it would have to be some kind of rules so that with your advantage, somehow that's neutralized to make it still an even playing field.
Right.
Because it just seems unfair to keep you at that advantage, knowing you have the advantage and not doing anything about it, but saying, okay.
You know, it's so funny because in the Olympics, when folks were getting in trouble for using hormones to boost their... So what are we talking about? You know, I mean, they used to get kicked off the Olympic team because you're enhancing.
Marion
Exactly.
Jones.
And that's
So
the reason
now,
why, and that's why they have
what
the
are we
rules set.
right,
That's why they have the
so-
rule sets. And that's why I was talking about expectations. If
Right.
the sports start making these expectations and putting things out there saying, okay, and to offset individuals from actually stepping out saying, I don't want to play in the play in the NBA no more. I want to go to the WNBA. They have something set in rules that's going to tell people, you know what, maybe I may need to change my mind because of the fact that I see some things in these rules or these expectations that saying I can't do it. So let me go ahead and stay in my lane, as we said earlier.
If they're going to start letting transgenders back in Olympic, all this, and competing with the opposite sex, they need to give Marion Jones her medals back. Period.
You ain't lying.
They need to give, they dismantled her. They put her in prison. Like, they need to give her medals back, period. Just like they gave Vanessa Williams her crown back, you know.
Oh, now
period.
that's an interesting
That is
point,
an
Derek.
That is.
Derek, that is. That's
That
very
is.
true.
That's
though.
an
true.
interesting
Yeah,
point.
true.
Now, Marie, you had said something before we started the show, and you mentioned about your testosterone level. Tell us about that.
Oh, I have what is called hypertestosteronemia, and it is it's pretty much I just produce a lot of testosterone, which is, you know, when people see me, I have facial hair and things of that nature. There's pros and cons to this hypertestosteronemia, trust me, but I'm saying don't stop no show, it's all good. But yeah, so I'm a little stronger than most women, you know, so
Go ahead and
I
tell
would
us.
have a natural advantage. I mean, you know, if I were to do sports back in the day, if I were a active person like that, which I wasn't, I was kind of worried about that because I didn't like working out and I didn't like how my body started changing. Like, you know, I would lift weights and I started getting those weightlifter thighs and the muscles in the washboard stomach, and I was just like, oh, too hard. I didn't like that because I was, you know, girly and I didn't like that. I like being soft and pudgy, but you know, but yeah, I have, you know, with that disorder, it's different. Even how, you know, encountering with women is different. How I interact with men is different. It's kind of a trip.
Tell us about that. It's different.
It's different
Tell
because
me.
I don't, and a lot of people may not understand or believe this, but hormones are a trip. Okay, they are a trip. And to have a lot of testosterone, I have a big bark. Okay,
What is that?
meaning like
What's a
if I
big
get
bark?
upset or something, I kind of can come off kind of really extremely strong. I can lift things, heavy things. I can bend things.
So you good to have around.
I'm kind of dangerous to have around, so I kind of had to learn how to tame that, you know what I'm saying? So it's because the hormone will make me pow, I'll shoot. And kind of relating to men in certain levels is kind of a trip, you know, especially like I told my mom, she was laughing. I said, it's going to be a trip when I get married because I don't know how he going to feel. We both line up at the sink to shave together. I don't know how he going
Oh my God.
to feel about that. Baby, what razor you using today? You got that's nice. Let me see. That makes your skin look real good. Let me try that. You know, I don't know how you gonna feel about lining up with that, but but I'm just saying it's like, you know. So when I hear this about the transgender, I don't know. I mean, I feel the way everybody's feeling about it is an unfair advantage, but then you got people like me, you know, in the middle of that. Layla Ali, I believe, thinks has a interesting imbalance. I used to read about her. She had a little imbalance like I have, so it's made her kind of strong. I probably should box too, but you know, so it's a pros and cons to it. It's pros and cons. That's all I can say.
Okay, pros and cons to it. If you want, if you want to weigh in on this conversation, give us a call at 916-226-9226. We want to hear what you have to say. Should transgenders compete in a sport that they identify with, even though it's a competitive sport and they may even be stronger than some females? What do you think about that? Give us a call right now, 916-226-9226. And everybody, we got another topic that we're going to be getting ready to move on through. Now, this one has a video actually to go with it. And I had let the team watch the video. And look, I got everybody looking at y'all. But I had the team watch the video. Now, this is a mistress that's going to call in to the Frank and Wanda show in Atlanta, Georgia. It's on V103. And I wanted you guys to actually hear this actual conversation and tell me what you think, because we are going to talk about this.
Please listen.
Coming up.
And he decided that he didn't want to be with me no more.
What's the problem?
The problem is that I've been waiting on him to divorce his wife for 3 years.
Ooh.
We've been together for 3 years. I mean, I guess people could say I'm like his side chick or whatever.
Mistress.
But that's my man. That's my man. He takes care of me. He has paid for stuff for me. I've been on trips with him. I mean, this man is an executive at a company here in Atlanta. He was having problems. Him and his wife, they not really doing it. And so we've been together. He told me that he was going to leave his wife. We were going to be together. And now he's talking about he don't want to be with me. And I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Now, I was going to go to the AJC. I was going to blast him out on social media. But, you know, I figured I would do this first.
So you've been the mistress of an Atlanta executive at a popular company here in the city. And for 3 years, you were the mistress, and now he's deciding he doesn't want to do this. But why do you want to blast him? I don't understand.
Because I'm hurt, Frank. Like 3 years, I've been waiting on this man to do what he said he was going to do. I love him. I love him. Basically, I've been the wife. I have been his wife. I have been the one that is taking care of his needs. I have been the one that has been on trips for him. I've done stuff for him. I have done stuff with him. Like, I am the wife, and I'm not having it. You're just not going to leave me,
Wait a minute, Bria,
no.
Bria, you're not the wife.
I mean, not on paper, but I basically do all the things that the wife is supposed to do. I'm there for him. I listen to him when he have a bad day. When he needs whatever, I'm there for him. I am the wife. As far as I'm concerned, he just needs to get rid of her and make this thing and do what he said he was going to do and make this thing right.
But I don't understand why you want to go to the paper. Come on.
Because he's just not leaving me. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
What do you mean he's just not leaving you?
I have been loyal to this man, and he is going to keep his word. Okay? He's going to keep his word, period. Okay? That's why. Because he's going to keep his word. I have been everything for him. I have given up. I have not worked. I have given up my whole life for this man because he promised me. And so now he's talking about he want to work things out with his wife? No, you're going to work things out with me, and I'm not playing.
I just don't understand, like, at what point didn't you realize, like, you are the side chick, and that's it?
No, we connected. We have a connection. We had 3 years? That's not a side chick. We are in a relationship. 3 years? No.
Do you know his wife?
Yeah, I know his wife. I've gotten to know her. I go to the same place she get her hair done. I make sure that when she's there, I'm there. And as a matter of fact, she just signed up for this new yoga Pilates class. I signed up for the class too, so I know everything. I know how she moves, where she go get her hair done, where she get her nails done. I know everything.
Does she know who you are?
No.
Does he have kids?
He has a child.
So why would you do that to the child?
Why would he do this to me? Frank, I've been so stressed out. I'm late for my period. I might be pregnant. I don't even know what's going to happen right now. So he might have another one. And he going to take care of me like he said he's going to. He going to do what he said he going to do. Period.
I'm sick. Let's go to the phone.
Well, what did y'all think about that first off? Now, I think this chick was borderline stalker status. So if you guys are just tuning in, this actually came from the Frank and Wanda show out of Atlanta, Georgia. A caller called in. She has been dating a man for 3 years who was actually married. And I assumed that he was telling her that he was going to be leaving his wife. And then he decided to stay with his wife. Well, I believe this woman was on stalker status because she said she started getting her hair done where the woman get her hair done, started getting her nails done where the woman get her nails done. But my question for the panel is she wrong for feeling the way she's feeling and acting the way she's acting? I want to hear from y'all.
I think she's delusional. I really do. I think she needs medication. I think she been riding for him so long to where she does think she's the wife. She sacrificed so much, like her job and everything, and and I think in her mind she tried to outdo the wife, and I think that's what a mistress always tries to do. But you got to understand, ladies, he ain't never gonna leave his wife for the mistress. It's too much invested, and 9 times out of 10. The lady ain't gonna leave him because it's so much invested. Because she understand that if you've been together so long, I just see this every day because I deal with a lot of women, and I hear stories, and I see a lot of women staying based on them being together 20 plus years. They stay because they're not willing to risk. This man didn't had a good track record all this time, and he slipped up once. And I think a lot of women take on the accountability for themselves because they get comfortable and they say, well, I ain't doing it tonight. He could sleep on it. He could do this, So I think when the cheating does happen and they realize and look at their part in it, they saying, well, damn, okay, well, let me shake that up. I'm just not going to leave my dude just based on that. We got more to it than that. It's degrees of a relationship. That's just one entity of it, faithfulness. So I just feel like she tried to challenge the wife, and she will never, ever win. And that's why she's at her boiling point now, because she feels at this time he should be leaving his wife to be with her because she's earned it. So, but the story is he'll never leave.
But the question is, what did he tell her?
Okay.
He told her, I'm sure he told her he was going to leave.
He said he told her that he was going. You my boo. I'm gonna kick it with you.
And strung her along for 3 years.
And strung her along every day, talking about you my boo. Taking her here and there, knowing that she's gonna be at the same place as his wife. He paying for this or probably paying for. I know but at the same time, what was he telling her?
Yeah, that's real talk.
And so at the end of the day, she found out that I'm gonna tell you this, and that is I'm staying with my wife.
Mm-hmm. Bottom line.
All right, Marie.
You know how I feel about it. Well, is she wrong for feeling the way she's feeling? We can all say she's wrong for feeling the way she's feeling. Yeah, we can say that. But like you guys were just saying, what was he, telling her? And it didn't have to necessarily be anything he was telling her. Just his time alone was enough for this particular young lady with whatever issues that she has to get emotionally attached to this guy like she is. So you can't do what you don't know, and you can't change if you don't feel like you got a problem. So this young lady thinks she's right because she has spent her loving time with this person, and he has let her do that, and he has allowed her to nurture him, and he wasn't paying attention that she had an issue, and he wasn't paying attention that she was maybe
stalker material.
Yeah, all that, getting too close and all those different things, and and when you're in something like that, you're not really thinking about that because you're torn in energy. You got two different things going. You got a wife that you got issues with, and then picked up this other person. So when you're in that kind of situation, as pulling two people at the same time, 3 or 4, whatever you're doing, you don't have time to focus on the details of each of those things. So he's basically just using her for whatever emotional outlet he needs. She's taking it the way she's taking it.
But why we got to diminish?
So are we to say that she's wrong for feeling the way she's feeling because he's allowing her to express those feelings?
She is wrong.
But sometimes some people Like the lady who called about the relationship with her husband. Remember she said she was in her craziness? Remember?
I
She
remember
said
that.
So when you don't know that
But
you
remember, we
functioning-
pulled her card many times.
That's true.
That whole
But
call.
this young lady in her energy, if you don't know you living in your dysfunction, she's acting appropriate for what her situation is.
But Will and Marie said, well, what did he tell her? And I love them, but at the end of the day, that is diminishing a woman's mind. She's a human being. Why didn't we sift through all that and say, okay, well, I didn't been through this. I didn't seen this.
Vested.
Why didn't the red flags come up?
Because she's getting her selfish need. You don't see no flag when you
so
get
now
what
she
you
want to
want.
be mad at the wife and want to compete with her.
Yes, that's how craziness does. That's
she
what
didn't want to
craziness
open her
does.
eyes.
No, exactly. You
Craziness or is
absolutely
that
right.
love?
Or lust or infatuation.
Or
I'm got
conscientious
to agree with Marie on this. In my opinion, I can't really blame the woman for how she feels because of what she was being told, and she probably had high hopes of that actually happening. And women are emotional. She wrapped her emotions around that, and I do blame him because at some point he had to realize if she thinks she's a wife, that's because he was probably treating her like a wife at some degree, going on vacations and trips, etc. But now that things are being cut off, she's having a hard time dealing with it. Now, I do agree that at some point you need to accept the fact that it's over, but she ain't willing to accept it right now. It may take some time for her to really realize that this is it. Because who knows? It may have been it some time before. They probably broke up, got back together like relationships do. You break up, you get back together. So she probably thinking, okay, we going to get back together when he was like, you know what? I'm staying. This is it.
Right.
And so I think emotionally to come from a high of thinking that you are the wife and you got everything you entitled to and this is going to be nice.
In 3
this is
years?
gonna be, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
That's nice.
In 3 years?
But you know what? In 3 years, that's a long time.
It is.
To
They're
be
not
on
living
the
with y'all.
side.
They're not living with each other.
Right. That's kind of new. And if you save a boyfriend and girlfriend, they're 3 years, it's kind of new. You guys still kind of weeding out things. Like I know people who've been cheating and got a boyfriend and girlfriend for almost 15 to 20 years. And they sit in my chair every day. But I ain't never going to say no, I take this to my grave. But at the end of the day, I'm just comparing, contrasting. Like you got to earn that. Like if you a mistress and you got to earn that. Like you competing with a wife of 15 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25, 35.
But she'll never surpass that loyalty of that long-term relationship.
true.
But if he's coming with it saying, I'm not happy and I'm happy with you, if he's feeding her that and she's eating that up, then she thinks she's next.
I do agree
She
with that.
thinks she next in line.
I do agree with that.
She's gonna wait
Right.
because her worth is in that.
Right.
It's no bigger than that. That's where her worth is at. So she's gonna wait. And the next level is once she stop getting mad, she might go ahead along and be that side chick. If she don't figure out her worth.
So
Right.
She'll fall right into place.
Right.
And she might be mad about it, but she'll keep going to dates. She'll keep letting him come when he mad. And when he mad, the wife will feel some type of way. Because that's when the emotional blow-ups come. That's when it's wonderful. When he comes upset. That's when she gets most of the energy. Because he brings that upset, heavy head to her lap. And that's just when it builds her drive to feel how she felt on the radio.
Now, Marie, have you ever been through that before? It sounds like you have.
Of course I have.
Sounds like somebody has
What
some
you
personal
mean?
experience.
Yes, and I ain't the only one in this
Wow.
world who has.
That's-
Amen.
It's a real
that's
place.
good.
Amen.
'Cause I want you to speak from,
It's a
'cause
real
you know
place.
where she
It's
is.
a commonplace.
Right.
Where's the timeline? Where's
Absolutely.
the timeline?
What do you
I mean, what I mean by that? Year one, I'm gonna leave you, baby. I'm gonna leave her, baby. Year two come along, I'm gonna leave her, baby, for you. Okay, we're going on year three. He ain't made no effort to walk out that house.
But remember, women, we are emotional and we hang on to a lie because we are audible people. That's why when you tell a woman you love her, it's like he loves me. Men are physical. And so she was holding on to whatever lie is not time yet, whatever story she was being fed and how she was being treated. So he was treating her good. He was taking her
Fulfilling her
on
needs.
vacations. Right. So she was getting all those things taken care of emotionally. So that's why it was easy for her to stay.
I just feel like it's how did it start? Because a real you really got to work. I ain't gonna say a real man would do this in a cheating situation, because really no man should be cheating. Period. You know, if you did, pray to God about it. He forgive you, forgive yourself, and move on. But at the end of the day, I feel like you should really get like this with your chick. Like if y'all do, you got a mistress. Let her know, look, I'm not leaving my wife. This is something purely sexual. You need to understand that. Or if you're in agreement with that, then we can rock. If not, then I'll move on. Or maybe it's a wake-up call for me not to cheat. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, how did he start? Did he start with broken promises? Yes, you my babe. I'm willing to marry you. Or was he a real one that said, check this out. Look, I'm willing to do this with you because you got at me. I didn't get at you. You hollered at me at the grocery store, and I'm willing to do this with you because you know you keep you after me every day, and I'm wearing down. But at the end of the day, I'm not leaving my wife. I got too much at stake.
Now, do you think it may have started like others start? You meet a female you like, and then she finds out later on you're married? That it kind of slips in there, and now her emotions are involved, and although she's torn, but because she loves him, and then he said, well, I'm going to be leaving my wife. You know, we was going through some things. And,
but why didn't she bust him out? Go call the wife. Go figure it out.
Because she loved the man too much, and then she
mess up stuff,
right. So she don't want to mess up things with him. Because if I end up calling the wife, so you know she never confronted the wife. She just goes to the same place where the wife goes to Pilates. She goes to the wife's nail shop.
Okay,
she goes to the wife.
The wife
and so
don't
the wife
know. She don't know. Okay,
She's just stalking the wife.
She don't know yet.
Right.
Because I tell you,
She's keeping that wife in her back pocket.
If she's not getting what she wants, she sounds like the type of woman that's going to take it to the
wife.
next level.
Yes,
she don't sound like she going to stay where she at.
Not at all.
She sound like she is going to go 51-50 and continue so upset this man.
But let's keep it real.
You're going to be married, but you ain't going to be happily married after I finish up with you.
No, but y'all forgot. Y'all completely forgot. She put it out there already when she said, I go to the same Pilates. So all the woman has to do is be like this. I just joined the Pilates club the other day. She talking about my husband.
Probably know what time she goes. So she can approach the wife at any time. So basically she letting him know, I can blow your stuff up anytime.
Yeah. She waving it
right. There you go.
And the fact that she said she was late, that adds another layer to it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot going on.
And I might be pregnant too.
Yeah.
Woo! Whoa. Ouch. Ooch.
Hello, y'all got quiet on that, right?
No, I'm not surprised.
So what's the moral to this story?
Don't start none.
Don't start nothing that won't be nothing.
Keep it to yourself. Keep it to
that
yourself.
Is the moral.
I mean,
Fall
you know
down,
what,
dust
Derek?
yourself off, and
Derek,
get
you
back
know
up
what?
and don't
with
do
the point, Derek, with the point you making, that even if a brother comes at a chick in real life like that, because of the way women are designed, we still gonna hit that line. You can come at me and say, I will never be with you. I will never be with you. But if you're coming and you're laying with me, and if you're having heartfelt moments with me, and if you're laying there and you're telling me your business and you cat off, okay, that's fine. You may never be with me, but you with me.
Wow. Okay.
But I'm just trying to. I'm okay. I'm trying to. To me, it seems like after a year to 2 years or whatever, there has to be something, regardless of emotion or not, that has to tell the woman, you know what? He ain't done nothing to make himself to the. I mean, he hasn't done nothing to show that he's moving towards you.
Nobody said women don't think that. They think it.
So if he's not making that move towards you, and he's not making you feel like you're the number one chick. I'm just saying, is there something that comes about
when you take a chick on trips? You making her feel like she's the number one chick. Yeah, when you leave your wife at home and you taking me, you making me feel like I'm that number one chick. Yep. When you taking me out to eat in restaurants in the city where your wife live, you're making me feel like I'm that number one chick. Yeah.
So okay, maybe I missed something because you saying he doing it right there in the city.
He in the city.
In Atlanta.
And she said he's in Atlanta. He works at a corporation in Atlanta. So he's doing it right there in the city.
He's doing it right there.
So if you doing it right in front of
the city or outside the city?
Right.
But even to your point of your question, because because you can't understand how come it can be that long. Right. You're like, how can a woman allow herself to be in that?
No,
it's
not about allow. I'm just trying to. I figure a time something will kick off and saying something's not right with. He's not doing the things. Like for instance, if I tell a young lady that my timetable, if I'm gonna leave my wife or whatever, is gonna be 2 years. You're gonna most likely you're gonna start seeing me doing things that's gonna make me go that way.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Okay, so we agree that sometimes that could happen.
Sometimes that can happen.
Yeah, And
But
if you don't
a lot
see
of
nothing
times
like that
that's not-
happening, then
What are you doing?
What do you? I mean,
where's your
what's going on?
logic?
But see,
Now
that's
you
where,
want to be a
that's
beat
where
down
I'm
woman.
trying.
Oh my
No,
God,
but
he
see,
cheated on me.
well-
Oh my God. Oh, and then you want every woman to follow your lead. That's right. I got
No,
cheated
but
on
see,
too.
but
It's
that's-
not fair.
And you talking about a bunch of broken toe up women. You ain't talking about nobody who's working in their wholeness.
Right.
That's what I need y'all
Absolutely.
to understand. You're not
Okay.
talking about
Okay.
a woman who was functioning in her true function. She's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
She's somewhere, someplace, something happens, or maybe not, or she feels some type of way, seeing something, grew up some kind of way that affects how she functions in that area. It's okay to her, or she's a.
We have a call on the line. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Lady Charmaine. This is Davinia. How are you all?
Good. How are you?
All right, how are you
Yeah.
doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. I actually jumped on just a little late, but I just think I'm just going to leave this where it is. I just think that a lot of young women as well as older, they act like that there's a shortage in men and think they have to take whatever that's thrown out to them, and they don't understand their worth.
Right.
And so they know what's out there. Even there's so many signals out there letting you know that the men are taking as well as the women. But right now, it just seems like there's an all fall. It's so sad because this generation, old and new, seem like everyone is losing their standards in marriage.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your comment. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You all have a nice one.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye bye.
It's a mindset.
That's true. She's
It's
right.
She's right.
It's a place of how you're socialized or whatever it is. Something is causing you to think that's okay. Whether it's loneliness, whether you're tired of being alone. I need a man around me. I don't care what caliber he come in. I just need somebody to come check on me. and that meant,
Like
and then,
Beyonce,
of course,
check
and
up
that
on
wouldn't make sense to you because of how we're designed differently as
Correct.
far as how we function as men and women.
Correct.
So it makes sense that you don't get that.
No, I get it.
Because
got three girls in the house.
oh, that's
Lord
true. Yeah,
Jesus.
you got them. But as
All type
as women and
emotions.
as nurturers, we kind of let things go for a minute. We let it go, and then we go. And then we go. Oh, okay, that's enough of that.
Right. Because
Hold on, you said enough of what?
Whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying.
If it ain't making
That's what
me
I'm
happy,
saying. It's
it gets
where's
to
the
that point,
enough of what?
When is that?
But see,
Time frame is that?
Not disagreeing, but that's where I guess that's where I'm trying to get it. Because you said enough.
Yeah.
Because
see-
everybody got a point.
Yep.
I think that this woman's enough just from hearing that short little clip. It may not be as peaceful as you would think. That okay, you don't want me, I'm moving on. She want to do some collateral damage. It sound like she's not going to leave peacefully or easily and let this thing go because of what she's already sacrificed. And like she said, I'm the wife. I mean, she was like, I'm the one.
Yep.
And
Right,
so
right.
I've seen enough episodes of Snap and other things on TV that makes you think that okay,
Okay.
she may leave, but she gonna take a lot of damage and try to tear up the family and make you feel like you just gonna regret this for forever. Forever.
Yep.
I ain't walking away from this one, brother.
What was that movie with Beyonce? What was the name of that one? Well, I think she was
Beyonce's
obsessed.
movie?
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Obsessed.
Obsessed,
That's
yeah.
what this is.
Obsessed,
This
yeah.
is obsession.
She's
right
definitely
here.
obsessed.
Yeah, she's crossed the line, and she.
Yeah.
She
And you
said
got to
she not
remember that
having
too.
it.
When a
She not
mistress
having
does
it.
do that, and she decides, okay, I can't have him. I'm finna F up his life.
Right.
That man ain't got nothing to lose no more. His family is gone. You might end up 6 feet under somewhere. Because I know a situation like that. He
I
risked
got
it
my
all to
tires
cheat,
flattened.
and I've cheated for 5 years, and she was like, I don't care. I'm finna call your wife, call her mama and everything. Called him, and then a week later she was dead. So you have to be, and he is in prison now. But at the end of the day, you have to be cautious on when you want to step up, because you played a part in this too as well. You knew he was married. You chose to continue the relationship, even if you didn't know at first.
Good Lord.
Regardless of your emotion and you falling in love with him, the bottom line is the morals, the standards. It was wrong. So when are you going to pull out as a woman doing this to another woman? Okay, so like, just be careful, mistresses, when you decide that you want to ruin somebody's family, because you might end up 6 feet under, because that man has nothing to
Okay,
lose.
as a person who
nor your
did that,
Ouch.
as a person who did that,
Yes. Explain.
I had a child by a married man. So as a person who was in that, I think I can speak on that.
Yes, you can.
I was not thinking at all about that wife.
Right.
That's the real life answer to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, see?
Okay, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I want to think about her feelings because it was all about me.
Yeah.
That's the other reality of that. The homegrown the phone. She ain't thinking about that wife.
Come on.
She ain't thinking about nobody but herself and her feelings. And she gonna get him out there. And she gonna do what she gotta do. And she gonna make him miserable till you make a decision. Now, I wasn't making this person miserable to make this decision. I didn't want this person. But still and yet, I was involved with someone who was married. I knew that going in. And I didn't care. That's the harsh reality of that.
But you didn't try to, once it was over, try to ruin his life with it.
No. My situation wasn't that. But the bottom line is anybody who's going into that, you're right, is going in knowing what they're doing. Whatever that is.
Because actually, you still being lenient, and I know you would get into that maybe years on or whatever, but you still, I give you props for that.
Behavior. It's a very, very high energy, selfish behavior because it was selfish driven. And then look what happened. Create a whole person in his madness. You know what I'm saying? So there are consequences to her behavior. Now, she think it's cool to be pregnant by this man, but this wife still exists. How do you know she ain't decided not to go nowhere? There it go. You know what I'm saying? And in my situation, which is still kind of currently unfolding itself. You understand what I'm saying? It's that woman is not thinking about nobody but herself. That's the reality to most of those situations when they go down like that. When you're cheating and doing all kind of stuff, you may finally love that person, but at the beginning you weren't thinking about nothing but yourself.
Marie, what is it that, okay, let me ask you this. What is it that a woman is thinking about herself on? Is it the fact that she thinking about her being with this man? Is it the big picture, the picket fence? What is she thinking about?
Me, I can only speak for me because I think everybody's reasons for that was different. But for me, my thing was I was in a relationship. I was going through a change as a woman, and I was handling it all wrong. You know what I'm saying? I had a pattern in my life, and this was to be in my books. I'm going to be real quick, where I would use sex as a stress reliever. Sex was my way of, I thought, of getting stuff off me. So that was my thing. It wasn't drugs or alcohol, or it wasn't going and running a mile. It was that. And this is the person that got caught up in that horrible cycle that I was kicking out of me. So I'm totally responsible for what happened because I went for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was my drive. That's what I thought was helping me go over and get off real quick, and then I'm cool.
I can relate.
Wasn't thinking about nobody else but me going and getting off real quick, then I'm cool.
Oh, that's deep.
That's just the reality of that.
And it's real too.
And thank you for being transparent on that.
Amen.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to really know who you are. That's why I always know who you are as a woman, because these dysfunctions will have you making decisions and choices that aren't who you are. Ooh. And so when this situation happened in my life, it kicked me into, I hurt so many people with this decision. And it's not who I am.
Yeah, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? So.
But that's all it is. Like I tell my daughter this, that's all we are choices of decisions. What do you want to eat in the morning? What do you want to wear? Which way do you want to go to work? That's all we have are our choices and decisions. And sometimes we're not going to make the perfect ones, and they're not going to be 100. They're going to be 0 at times. But how, like Lady Charmaine said earlier, how do you come out of it? It ain't about the situation. It's like, how do you come out of it? And you still shining like a 5-carat diamond because God continually blessing you. That's how you know it wasn't your heart. It was just a selfish measure that a selfish choice that you made.
Yeah,
but
and
it's not who you are.
And my mission now is to be transparent about it so other women can understand and see.
Right.
You ain't got to be like that.
That's right.
Amen.
Right. Wow.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. We're getting ready to wrap up. And thank you guys for watching tonight. Be sure to share this. If you know anybody that's gone through this situation or these situations, please share the video. And we thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Lady Charmaine Live Facebook page so you always get the notifications when we are going live right here on the Lady Charmaine Facebook page. Also, the Lady Charmaine Live show is being sponsored by Rebuilding Your Dreams After the Storm Women's Conference. It's going to be taking place in Elk Grove, California on July the 28th, right there in Elk Grove. If you want more ticket information, just go to rebuildingyourdreamsconference.eventbrite.com. And this conference is for any woman who feels like that she's lost her purpose, her vision due to an unexpected storm in her life. Well, this is the conference for you. And we want to make sure that you guys get all of the information. Here it is. Just go to rebuildingyourdreamsconference.eventbrite.com. Again, rebuildingyourdreamsconference.eventbrite.com. And again, thank you to everybody that came on the show. Thank you all for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I see you guys next week on the Lady Charmaine Live show. And again, thank you everybody for watching.